U.S. Supreme Court skeptical of federal agency independence in landmark case. In a pivotal Supreme Court hearing, justices expressed deep skepticism toward the constitutionality of the long-standing legal doctrine that protects the independence of federal agencies from direct presidential control. During oral arguments, a majority of the court, including Justices Kavanaugh, Alito, Barrett, and Chief Justice Roberts, challenged the foundational 1935 precedent of Humphrey's Executor, which has shielded agencies like the FTC and FCC from at-will removal by the president for nearly 90 years. Critics, including law professor Jonathan Turley, argued that these independent agencies represent an unconstitutional hybrid of legislative and executive power, while defenders warned that overturning the precedent would radically reshape the administrative state and concentrate more authority in the presidency. The court's conservative justices focused on the limits of congressional power to insulate agency heads, suggesting the nearly century-old bargain may be overturned, which would mark a significant expansion of executive power. New Orleans. Operation Cat Crunch. Immigration sweep draws protests. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, agents, in a coordinated operation with Border Patrol and local police, are conducting an immigration enforcement sweep in Kenner, Louisiana, an area with a high concentration of Hispanic residents. The operation, dubbed Operation Cat Crunch, has resulted in dozens of arrests, including multiple criminal illegal aliens. According to reports, the action has sparked significant pushback, with protesters following and confronting federal agents, blowing whistles, and using megaphones to alert the community of their presence. While local law enforcement officials, including Kenner's police chief, have welcomed the federal assistance, activists and some politicians are criticizing the sweeps. The controversy highlights the ongoing national debate over immigration enforcement, with figures like New York socialist politician Zohran Mamdani releasing videos advising undocumented immigrants on their rights to remain silent and film encounters with ICE. Spotlight intensifies on Representative Ilhan Omar amid massive Minnesota COVID fraud scandal. Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is facing intense scrutiny over her knowledge and connections to a massive federal COVID-19 relief fraud scheme in her district, estimated to have stolen at least $250 million and potentially over $1 billion. The scandal, which prosecutors call the largest pandemic fraud case in the U.S., primarily involved members of Minnesota's Somali community. Omar, who introduced legislation that helped create the Feeding Our Future program at the center of the fraud, defended herself on Face the Nation, stating that Somali Americans are also taxpayers, upset and angry about the fraud. However, analysts and critics highlight her close ties to the scheme, including holding a victory party at a restaurant owned by a major convicted player. Former White House advisor Stephen Miller called it potentially the greatest theft of taxpayer dollars through welfare in U.S. history, while Omar has faced backlash for comparing Miller's rhetoric to that of Nazis. The case has sparked a broader political firestorm, with calls for investigations into Minnesota's Democratic leadership, including Attorney General Keith Ellison.